This week marked some top stories. Even President Obama commented on all the ruckus revolving around the interview. Apparently Sony is cancelling the release of the interview. The comedy by Seth Rogen and James Franco revolves around a media personality who gets the opportunity to interview the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, only to get involved in a CIA plot to assassinate the leader. The events that led to the cancellation go back to the cyber attack on Sony systems of November 24th, in which movies, documents, emails, and personal information was stolen. In the weeks that followed, the hackers responsible leaked the stolen documents, made personal threats, and demanded the interview not be released in theaters or otherwise. This made theaters scared of being held liable in case something should happen if they did screen the movie, which made it impossible for Sony to release the interview. Sadly, Sony didn't get backup from the other Hollywood studios, despite efforts by George Clooney to send out a clear signal this will not be tolerated. The FBI have recently confirmed they have enough evidence to believe North Korea is behind the incident. The cyber attack and its dire consequences are a serious development indeed. Let's hope this remains an isolated incident.
In this interconnected digital world, there are going to be opportunities for hackers to engage in cyber assaults, both in the private sector and the public sector. Now, our first order of business is making sure that we do everything to harden sites and prevent those kinds of attacks from taking place.
Last week also marked the long-awaited release of Sci-Fi's new original miniseries Ascension. Here at VPC we have followed this 3-day event closely, and we are quite pleased with the outcome of the series. Initially set in an alternate setting of the events of 1963, Ascension was supposed to be a lifeboat for the people of Earth if a nuclear threat would wipe out human life. Sent on a 1-year journey to a distant star system, the crew of the USS Ascension is now in its 51st year of space travel, with a second generation watching over everyone and everything on the ship in a very retro-style setting and worldviews of a decade long since past its prime. The first night starts out with the murder of a girl named Lorelei, and XO Galt is tasked with finding the perp. Seeing as a murder has never happened before on the ship, everyone is at a loss, and we are being taken into a sort of Agatha Christie-like investigation, not unlike Murder on the Orient Express. So why is this miniseries worth mentioning? Ascension brings us a very refreshing take on the downtrodden space opera theme. Whereas people have been describing Ascension as the new Battlestar Galactica, the only thing Ascension has in common with BSG are Tricia Helfer and the fact they started out as a miniseries. But people, don't forget, Ascension is not your typical space adventure. At the end of the first night event, we were shown a big twist when we realized that the USS Ascension wasn't in space at all, but in fact a giant social experiment set up by the US government 51 years ago. There are some really spectacular twists and turns that keep you on the edge of your seat. I really hope that Sci-Fi will turn Ascension into a real full-length TV show, because I am curious to see how the big setup at the end of Night 3 will impact a possible future of the show. Stay tuned for more news on Ascension. On the DC front, we also have near confirmation about the casting of Amanda Waller. There has been a lot to say about the recent castings for the Suicide Squad movie. Big names, such as Will Smith as Deadshot, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and Oscar winner Jared Leto as the Joker, have signed on to portray some iconic characters from the DC universe. Now it is almost official, final talks are in session, that the Oscar-nominated actress Viola Davis will portray the role of Amanda the Waller. Besides Davis, Octavia Spencer and Oprah Winfrey were in talks to play the Balls of Steel Waller. My first choice would have been Oprah, but seeing Davis's track record, I can only hope she will make a good addition to the squad. Trailer-wise, Night of Cups was one of the frontrunners this week. Fans of director Terrence Malick have reason to rejoice. The notoriously slow filmmaker has a new movie in store for us, Night of Cups, starring Christian Bale, Kate Blanchett, and Natalie Portman. The trailer has been released this week and it looks amazing. Malick has built his film career on movies like The Thin Red Line, The New World, and The Tree of Life, and it looks like Night of Cups is going to feature his signature poetic, pondering style. The movie should be out sometime next year.
Once the soul was perfect and had wings and could soar into heaven.
You gave me peace, joy, love. Find your way from darkness to light. Remember.
Meanwhile, Meanwhile, on the small screen, we are anticipating Marvel's Agent Carter. The studio has released a very, very cool poster of Agent Peggy Carter. With only 3 weeks to go, we are definitely counting down when female agent numero uno hits our small screens. Peggy Carter, who was once Captain America's love interest when he was still in the timeline of the Second World War, continues her story after the events of the first Avenger. Hydra was supposedly taken care of, seeing as Red Skull got incinerated by the Tesseract Cube. But not all evil has left the world. We follow Carter as she tries to balance her job at the Strategic Scientific Reserve, or the SSR, with the secret missions set out by Howard Stark. We already got a glimpse of her in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a while back when she captured Nazi Hydra Dr. Reinhardt and the highly in-demand Obelisk. Agent Carter will premiere on January 6th. That's it for this week. See you next time.